So I want you to get out the page that I had you finish up today on the values that you put in order. there was a group of really wise old gentlemen, long time ago, relatively speaking, that did this very thing that supports everything we do in this country. What am I talking about? Yeah, the Founding Fathers. They did this very thing, and they weren't, I mean, it was not an easy process for them. They didn't really, not everyone got along with how this was turning out. But ultimately, they created this Constitution that drives, that is, every law in our country is based on this, what they set up over 200 years ago. Companies nowadays spend tons of money making constitutions, employee or worksite constitutions, or vision statements, or mission statements is another one you hear about. This is exactly what they're doing. Exactly. I know, because I didn't make this up. I borrowed this from a company who, that's what they do. When I first did this, after I had that, oh, I've got to do something about where I'm going, I went to my brother's cabin. He lived near Sundance, and for a week, I spent an entire week, didn't have a TV, didn't have a phone, didn't have anything with me. I just had my wisdom literature, my books that I really inspire me. And I spent a week doing this. Now, I'm not saying this is what I'd like you to do, but I felt like it was that important to me to understand who I am and what I'm about and where I want to be going. And I still have, probably 25 years later, I have this constitution of mine that I refer to very frequently. And I look at it and I go, okay, how am I doing with respect to what I feel is most important? And it grounds me, it centers me, it keeps me going in the direction. It keeps my feet on the ground when everything else feels like it's, chaotic. It also sends me skyward thinking, okay, wow, here's the things that we really, really want to be about. And if you want to take this, and this is, for some of you, this will just be another assignment. Okay, let me get this over with. Fine, give me my points. But if you take this with any degree of seriousness, it can be one of the most powerful things you can do for you, because you'll get the sense, I really do have a purpose. I really do have meaning in my life. Viktor Frankl, who went to, we've talked about him before, he wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, he said, the people who survived versus the people who died in these concentration camps, the thing that differentiated them more than anything else was the people who lived felt like they had meaning, that there was a purpose for staying alive. And the people who died, and they were all under the same conditions, the people who died, they were the ones who said, I must not have anything to live for, there must not be any hope, there must not be any meaning. That's why he called the book Man's Search for Meaning, because that was the determining factor that moved people in the direction of life. This is a huge deal if you want it to be. Some of you won't. It's okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to create your own constitution, your own mission statement, or whatever we want to call it, as part of this. And I'm going to give you a couple weeks to do this, so that you take some time to really think about it. And what I would suggest you do is find a place where you're by yourself. You've got no distractions. You've got things that remind you of your most important things. And I always like my wisdom literature because I I read that through that stuff, and I go, oh yeah, that's my highest stuff. And I got books that I really like that I got underlined passages that I always know when I go back to those, it will remind me of the highest things to think about. And so in those 2 weeks, I'd like you to take some time, go somewhere by yourself, and if you're got meetings, miss a meeting or two some Sunday or something, and go to the mountains and just think deeply for a few minutes. I'm not asking you to take long, because thinking deeply hurts. It's hard on our brain. And see what comes up for you. See what comes up for you, and don't think, well, they wanted me to think this, and those guys think I should think this about me. Go inside and say, what really comes up? See what really comes up, and watch what happens. It's really a cool thing. But you have to be quiet in order to do that.